Through 2 weeks in the NFL season, the AFC West is flipped upside down. You have the Kansas City Chiefs sitting there at 0-2 at the bottom of the division. You have the Chargers at the top at 2-0, and then you have the Broncos and Raiders right there after the Chargers at 1-1. Does this total change up 2 weeks into the season change the way the Broncos can win this? And does it give them a better chance to win the AFC West?
I think it does in a sense. You always want to see, like ding dong, the witch is dead as it relates to the Chiefs. Now, I'm not saying they're dead, but I'd like to see them die. And
Everyone would.
So them being at the bottom of the race makes the race more open for the other three teams. Absolutely. Here's the scary thing. The Broncos play the Chargers this week. You got to win this one.
Yep.
If you don't win this one, the Chargers are 3-0 on the season, 3-0 in the division to start the season with a game on every single team. It's as good of a lead as you could possibly get going out of the gates. So, maybe Andy Reid and Pete Carroll are calling up Sean Payton this week and giving him some tips because no one in the division wants to see the Chargers start off 3-0. So, it's a great opportunity. If you get this one. If you get this one, it's kind of like all's equal.
Well, and it's not even just equal. You're now number one in the division.
Right.
Like, even if the Raiders win, they have the worst divisional record compared to the Chargers and Broncos. Broncos obviously have the head-to-head over the Chargers. You win on Sunday, you now are the number one team in the AFC West, and there could be some tiebreakers involved. There would be at least one. I think that they're in a good spot. Now, if they had won last week against the Colts, they would obviously be in a great spot, a dream spot. Like, you couldn't have asked for a better start than that. And so it's really hard just to scrub the pain of what happened in Indianapolis away and ignore the fact that they could be in just this ideal situation. But if I were to tell you before the season that this Week 3 game against the Chargers, the winner is in first place in the AFC West, you would have signed up for that, right?
100%. And in fact, if the Broncos are able to beat the Chargers, the Week 2 loss to the Colts, I think the sting goes away almost right away. As opposed to, we could be sitting here in Week 17, 18 saying, if only they had beat the Colts. Just like the Colts said last year, if only Jonathan Taylor doesn't drop the ball heading into the end zone, it's likely the Colts making the playoffs over the Broncos there. What the Broncos don't want is to just be constantly looking at Week 2 against the Colts and what happened at the end of the game, not just the last-second field goal, but in the fourth quarter, how the Broncos blew it. That all goes away if you beat the Chargers this week. And for the Chargers' perspective, you guys laid it out really well, but one other thing, there's a chance that if the Chargers win this, not only are they 3-0 in the division, which they would be 3-0 with their record, number one in the AFC, but they could also have a 2-game lead without any of the tiebreakers over every other team in the AFC West. So, you talk about a perfect start for the Chargers. If they beat the Broncos, that's exactly what they're going to have. The rest of the AFC West wants the Broncos to win this game to keep it competitive with the Chargers. And like Henry said, Broncos are number one in the AFC West if they win this game. And it's all in their hands right now. So this really does help the balance of the AFC West. You're no longer chasing the Chiefs. And the Chiefs would have to kind of go on a run and have to have the Chargers lose in order for them to be the ones being chased again.
Yeah. Last week, Henry said that Week 2 in the NFL is all about forget everything you think you know from Week 1. And a lot of places across the league, that turned out to be right. I think Week 3, I don't know if this is a widely accepted theory like that one, but I'm starting a new one if it isn't. Week 3 is all about desperation. Who needs it the most? Teams that are 0-2 that had high hopes, they're going to be on a different level. And I think that applies to the Broncos. They're not 0-2, but they know that they cannot allow the Chargers to get out to this insane hole shot on the rest of the division. The Broncos are going to be by far the more desperate team on that football field. I think around the league, as you're looking out, pick out desperate teams, the Chiefs being one, who are going to have success this week.
Yeah, and I think the kicker to all of this is that you play the Bengals the next week. And the Bengals no longer have Joe Burrow. And so it's not just that you win this one and then, hey, you've got this tiebreaker, you're in first. It's that you then get to go play a game where you're going to be a heavy favorite. Now, the Bengals last week were losing when they lost Joe Burrow and wound up winning the game with Jake Browning leading the way. So it's not like this is going to be a super easy game, but it all of a sudden looks a lot more winnable. I hate using the word winnable for good teams. Like, it's something that you say when you're Miami of Ohio and you have to go through and count the winnable games. And if you're the Broncos, every game is winnable. You can win every game. But now this looks like a game that you really should win.
Yeah.
If you're a playoff team, you absolutely win that game.
You beat Jake Browning at home on Monday Night
Yes.
Football.
With
You
the
would
Bengals
think.
having the worst defense.
Yeah.
Like,
You would think.
You do.
Totally. You would totally think. But again,
is
like
fair-
we saw Jameis Winston last year, and sometimes things like that happen
Still
in prime
won.
time. You still won.
It's
You
true.
still
That's
won.
how you made the
But that's why you
playoffs.
feel so good
And
about
it's,
it.
it's a nerve-wracking game to me, though, because it is
Absolutely.
like you have to win this game.
Like-
and now I think they should, but
Yeah.
you have to win that game.
Jamar Chase is still there. T. Higgins is still there. Like,
Yeah.
But yeah, you do. The point is, you do think that you have one in the bag the next week, and that's where you have a chance to extend the lead, or maybe the Chargers even lose that week. I haven't checked who they're playing, but that's where you could really feel like you're taking off. And if you happen to steal one against the Eagles, then you're off and running.
I think-
Division's kind of yours.
I think a great thing about saying the division can be yours is, again, you're no longer chasing the Chiefs. And when it comes to the Chiefs, guys, Sean Payton and the Broncos are going to be massive Russell Wilson fans this week. The Giants
They
are
have no
playing the Chiefs. I believe it's Sunday Night Football. I believe
It
it's
is.
in Arrowhead. And if Russ pulls that off, Ryan, I agree with you. It's too early to say the Chiefs are dead right now. If the Giants beat the Chiefs, it might be ready to say the Chiefs are done, at least for this year, competing for the division. There's a lot on the line in week 3 for the Broncos, for the Chargers, for the Chiefs, the Raiders. Whatever. The Raiders are a Geno Smith Raiders team. We saw what happened on Monday Night Football.
The thing about the Chiefs losing at home to the Giants this week is, like, it wouldn't be like, oh, they're dead because of their record or anything like that. It would be they're dead because they're bad.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, that's what it means if you lose to the Giants this
Yeah.
week.
I mean, and nobody will care. They'll say you lost to old man Russell Wilson. They won't care at all that Russell Wilson just played the best football game of his career this weekend. And it wasn't I mean, the man threw for 450 yards. And
And lost.
yeah, it's a poor guy in a lot of ways. It's Russ, though, so we don't really care. After that, the Chargers go to New York the next week to play the Giants. So if you wind up in a world where Broncos win this week, Giants win this week against the Chiefs, and then the Chargers have to go to the Giants, all of a sudden we might be looking at that game and saying, I don't know, these Giants are a little bit frisky. Meanwhile, the Broncos have that home game against the Bengals. All of this only works, though, if the Broncos beat the Chargers. I think
Yes.
that's kind of the parlay, though. If you wind up,
Yeah.
even if it just Broncos win this week against the Bengals, against the Chargers, Broncos beat the Bengals the next week, and then the Giants beat either the Chiefs or the Chargers, that's the world in which you say, okay, Colts game is gone. I'm not worried about that. Look at how beautiful this situation is.
All right. I'm a man who likes to forgive.
Okay.
You know, I'm very easy to forgive. I have 2 promises of forgiveness. 1, if the Broncos beat the Chargers this week, I vow to forgive everything that went on at the end of the game in Indianapolis.
Okay.
As you should.
I won't even bring it up again. It's my vow.
Never again.
If Russell Wilson beats either the Chiefs or the Chargers, I vow to forgive him for the entire Russ era.
You
in
just need
Denver.
one.
Just one.
Because then you can say he helped end the Chiefs, and then he also brought in the Bo Nix era. And if that comes with a win against the Chargers, Broncos #1 seed in the AFC West right now. Current betting odds, Chargers are plus 100 to win the division. Chiefs are plus 250, Broncos plus 325, and I think Raiders are like plus 950.
I
So,
think the Broncos started at like plus 325 before the season, so nothing's really changed there.
Yep, they're okay. Just the Chargers and Chiefs have flip-flopped there, and that's probably good news. So let us know in the comments if you agree with us, and who do you think is going to win the AFC West? That's going to do it for us today.